Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Matt Bernier, the DRFBets race of the day for Sunday, May the 12th. Race number 9 at Monmouth Park. We're going a mile and a 16th. It's the Long Branch Stakes. It's the first step on the local road to the prestigious Grade 1 Haskell Invitational at Monmouth this summer. Remember the money-back offer for any race of the day this month on DRFBets. Bet $7 to win on any one horse in any race of the day this month. And if your selection finishes second or third, you get your money back. Learn more at promos.drf.com. Let's meet the field for the Long Branch. Remember, you can access free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post-position order, beginning with the number 1 Jovia. Matt, multiple stakes placed. Thought he tried his best 2 starts back in the private terms when chasing Preakness Bound, Always Mining in vain. And last time out in the Wood Memorial, he was just intent on the lead and got caught up in a brutal duel.
Yeah, and he was actually the one that caused most of the issues going into the first turn of the Wood Memorial, being hustled out of there. He veered in sharply. I mean, this is a horse that even go 3 starts back in that Jimmy Wingfield, he ran into High Cal and he was only defeated by a neck. This is a horse that's kept good company. He's run good races throughout his career. I'm going to be curious to see. This is in many ways class relief, but at the same time, I don't know that you can really make a definitive statement one way or the other about his race in the Wood because he went so fast early on. I don't think he ever got a real shake, a real chance to go out there and do what he was capable of. I think that private terms is more accurate, and I think if he runs that, he's got a big chance.
He draws inside at Monmouth, and he has good speed, and that's always a good place to be over this racing strip. As we see from the Timeform U.S. pace projector, he is expected to be on the lead along with the 3, a stretch-out sprinter that we'll get to in a bit. Are you a little bit concerned about Jovia's ability to get the 2 turns? In both of his races around 2 turns, and I won't really hold the wood against him, but he was getting a little tired at the end of the private turns, but he was chasing a nice horse as well that day.
I was going to say, and I look at that race, he was 3 clear of the 3rd place finisher. I think he just had a good horse run away from him. If he's going to get it, and if you have any kind of concerns about 2 turns, I would think a mile and 16th at Monmouth is probably where you're going to be able to do it. Now, who knows, back to a mile and an 8th and going forward, maybe that won't work, but I think he's going to be okay on Sunday.
The number 2 is Pretty Good Year, and this is a gelding trying 2 turns for the first time off a solid enough 7 furlong effort at Laurel, where he made the lead in the stretch and he was run down by the well-bred Still Dreaming. Buyer speed figure moved way up that day, 78. He's going to have to continue to improve, but I think he could work out a trip in the second flight while saving valuable ground.
No, I agree with that. The concern for me a little bit, that field that he ran against most recently, I didn't love it. You're right, Still Dreaming's got a beautiful pedigree, but the runner-up came back and only earned a 71 buyer in his next start, in the 5th place finisher was the next out winner with a 67. I think this horse is taking on better horses, and I'm not 100% convinced that the added ground's going to help.
Fix me a sandwich is going to be stretching out in distance from 5.5 to a mile and a 16th. He's been in pretty good form against weaker competition at Park. Second best last time out, and a non-winners of 1 other than. He's a 2-time winner, but both of those races kind of in restricted company. One in a 10,000 maiden claimer, the other in a starter allowance. He is going to really have to step it up against these tougher horses. His buyers are moving the right way, but Jovia looms right to his inside.
Yeah, and both of his wins gate-to-wire fashion, both of them on tracks where he was allowed to set soft fractions. So I don't know that he's going to get such an advantageous setup here on Sunday. Stretching out in distance against better horses, I don't want him.
Red Gum would appreciate a wet track. He has never been off the board from 4 tries on wet going. Both of his lifetime wins on off going, including a win at this distance 2 starts back. Now, he tried Always Mining and Jovia in his most recent start. It didn't work out, and he's listed as a vet scratch on April the 5th, so I have a couple of concerns about his fitness coming into this race.
Yeah, hard for me to argue with the idea that he's just simply superior on an off track as opposed to a fast main track. And I know he's run twice on synth. I don't want to hold those against him. But, if some rain shows up on Sunday, perhaps you want to move him up. But as is, I don't like him.
Regally Irish won his career debut on dirt, but his last 2 victories came on the turf. And I wonder if that's where ultimately his best game will be down the road. He also has a little bit of early speed. I can see Rajiv trying to leave out of there and maybe try to tuck 3rd in behind the 2 pace setters on the Timeform U.S. pace projector, the 3 Fix Me a Sandwich, the 1 Jovia. Here's a formulator fact for Graham Motion over the past 4 years. Last down winners moving from turf to dirt, 27% winners, 285 ROI, and his most recent start on dirt, he was in against an underrated sprinter in Gladiator King.
Yeah, he's run some solid enough races. I really can't knock anything that this horse has done. His two-turn race on dirt leaves something to be desired, but again, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there. The Bridgetown, I thought that was a good effort. He sat just off of a hot pace, came and got the job done. You brought up the Pedigree, though, and the idea that maybe turf is where he's going to be. His dam is a sibling to Irish War Cry as well as Irish Straight. Irish Straight considerably better on the grass than the main track. And Irish War Cry, who knows what he could have done on the grass, but he was bred for it. I wonder if grass is where he'll do his best.
If this pace heats up, and there's a good chance it will, Union's Destiny has a good chance from off of the pace. He ran in the Fountain of Youth and the Florida Derby. He was a giant price in both of those races, and he was simply overmatched in both of those races. It did not help that he had lousy post positions both times.
I have to be honest with you. I think this horse is okay. And you look and see he ran against the best of his generation down at Gulfstream in each of those past two runs. His run 3 starts back in the smooth air. Say what you will, it was against inferior company. I like the way that he finished. And you see this Pedigree. I think added ground's only going to be to his benefit. I toyed with the idea of picking him. I ultimately went with him in second. But I think he's an okay horse, honestly.
Union's Destiny and Jovia are the horses to beat. They're probably going to be the two favorites in this race. We will try to beat them with a price horse as we take a look at our top selection for the Long Branch. We're both going with the number 7, The Right Path. No match for Tacitus in the Tampa Bay Derby. And while he was beaten last time out as the favorite at Aqueduct, there were a lot of things going against him that day.
Yeah, a little bit of an odd trip where he didn't really get out of the gate all that alertly, had to wheel out into the clear, then made this big brush up. And look, he got run down at the very end, but by a horse that was able to shoot up the inside on the rail. I thought he ran a really good race. The other thing you want to keep in mind about that racetrack, according to Timeform US, that was a day that you wanted to be coming from off the pace, and he was relatively close to it throughout. I thought it was a solid enough effort. I think he has an excuse for that Tampa Bay Derby. I know the pace was hot, but that was a day that you wanted to be relatively close to the front end. He was coming from way out of it, and I thought his run 3 starts back at Gulfstream was inoffensive. I don't think this horse has really run a terrible race with the exception of the Tampa race in his 4 lifetime starts. I want to give him a chance here at a decent number.
I agree with you 100%. I think he got a good learning experience in his last 2 starts. The Tampa Bay Derby in a big field. He was wide. Then Joe Bravo took him to the rail late. Good experience for him. And last time out, as you mentioned, sideswiped coming out of the gate, brushed to make the lead, sat off another horse, made the front again in upper stretch, and the rail skimmer got the better of him late. All in all, a good effort for The Right Path, who could be the right price. Give me numbers.
7651.
7162 for me in the $100,000 Long Branch. It's your Sunday DRFBets Race of the Day. Remember your money back offer. Bet $7 to win on any one horse in any race of the day this month. And if your selection finishes second or third, you get your money back. Learn more at promos.drf.com. An approximate post time for the Long Branch. Race number 9 at Monmouth on Sunday, 4:52 Eastern. Best of luck.